All right, today we are diving into what I like to consider to be one of my all-time favorite cars that I own and that I drive all the time, the Chaser. Now this car I like to say is perfect and probably as perfect as a build can get, but there's one huge missing link that this car needs in my opinion. It looks perfect, the power is perfect, it drives exactly how I want, but the one thing it has an issue with is stopping. It makes 750 horsepower. It's like on the heavier side. I've got lots of camber, tiny contact patch with the road, and the brakes are not made to handle it. In addition to it not stopping well, they also don't look great. Everything on the car is pretty much beautiful. And then you got these chunky, slightly rusty, not fancy calipers. So today, we're gonna do some brakes. Kind of a complicated story, but spoiler, I did test fit one brake and that's how I know the dust shields are definitely going to need to come out. The guys are all hands on deck working on the giveaway Supra since we're entering the final week of that giveaway. So I decided rather than try to insert myself where there's not really space for me to be working, I would do something that I've been very much so looking forward to because I've had the brakes for this car on deck for a while, but it's just hard to make time to work on something like this. Looks like I'm just going to need to trim that and then that should just pop right off. Again, the rear, I know that I'm going to need to trim the brake shield down, and I hate using a grinder because it comes up with a lot of sharp edges, so I'm attempting to use some shears and then I was just going to clean it up after. Surprisingly, like the little shears are actually doing the trick. I'm just kind of like keeping my area clean so I don't have any bindage. I can just keep running the edge. It may seem like I was going a little bit overkill with grinding down these edges, but I can assure you, if you're ever grinding down a heat shield, please do not leave a sharp edge because you will in the future cut yourself on it. I've been there, you've been there. You still got a scar from it?
Yeah, it's somewhere on my wrist here.
You will thank yourself later by taking a little bit of extra time to make it not sharp.
Yep.
Usually I would I'd spray paint this, but nice car, overspray, not fun. So the good old spray paint cap trick, just to make sure we don't have any rust. Part of the reason I've been waiting to do the brake install is because I wanted to make a combo video with my brand new wheels. So these are SSR's SP6. It's their latest release. These came out and I am way too impatient to ever order something when it's new because it was like an 8-month lead time. So I just basically accepted that I'd probably never own these wheels, even though I thought they looked really cool on my Chaser. And then a set popped up for sale on Marketplace in Australia. So I actually bought these off someone that had them on their JZX and I knew the fitment would be perfect. But the one thing that I didn't know is brake fitment. And I probably should have taken measurements first, but I didn't have the brakes when I got the wheels and I was just way too excited. So as you can probably assume, I realized they're not gonna work with the brakes. Before I even jump into the install, I wanna clean up my mess. I got brake fluid everywhere. I got brake rotor dust and paint still drying. So we're gonna hop over to the giveaway Mark IV Supra again on its final week. Every $5 you spend on DriftHQ or LZMFG.com is going to get you entered for a chance to win that car and $20,000 cash. So let's see what the guys have been up to. So we're gonna upgrade the bolts for this cover. So we'll walk over to our bolts and nuts department.
Cool, bolts and nuts department.
Paperwork guy. This is for future, not for now. So you like it, Greg?
Oh, so show them our all-wheel drive SR20.
Yeah, maybe one day. This is the gold mine of all this scrap metal right here. This Johnny. Also, big shout out to Jimmy Oaks for the idea on how to store these. This saves so much space versus having them all laid down.
Mm-hmm.
They looked at me crazy when I have the full shopping cart full of just
Really?
I think this will do.
Oh, yeah.
Officially are working on the ECU. We got the ECU in the car. It's a plug and play unit for the Mark IV Supras. It does come, we could get the expansion harness, which we did, and what I'm doing here is routing all the wires that we need for the flex fuel sensor. We have a Bosch combo sensor here for pressure and temp for the oil. Fuel pressure is right here, so it'll come all the way over here to go there. And then I got the Y-band or the cam to lambda controller and the map sensor back here. So right now I'm just running the wires. I already got my lengths and all that stuff cut out. I'm about to pin them up, then nicely tape them to the current chassis engine harness, making sure that everything has power and ground where it needs to. And then Jamie can go ahead and log in, set the base map, and any sensors that we added, I'll give him my pinout on this, where I send them on that special harness, and then it'll be set. We're going to convert this throttle body to a Vibrant HD clamp. We're going to be using the new style HD clamp, which they work even better than the old style. Sean is working on the plug and play coil harness right now, and then we just got to run the last thing that the wiring is plug injectors in, run a boost controller signal to the Link ECU boost controller, and then from that point on it's just configure things in the computer. And just to show you what the new HD clamps looks like, they look almost the same apart from the mechanism that they have. You unlock there, this comes out, and they're spring loaded, so you hold that down here.
That's cool.
Yep, so you can let that go. As long as you let that down, it clips it itself. So that's really good because you could literally do it one-handed. So props to Vibrant to even perfecting their already great HD clamps, making it more even user-friendly. What we have here is a 3.5 Vibrant 90-degree bend that I cut down to about a 45-degree bend. This is what I'm gonna use to go to the HD clamp, and then I am going to cut another pipe that would roughly be around the same length slash bend, and unfortunately we're gonna cut a hole in the car. Mike does not like cutting holes in Mark IVs. I don't know why. It's like Adam not cutting holes on his R34. Mike didn't use an HD clamp, so he was able to use this real stay here to get a tighter bend to go down.
Johan actually gave me a really good idea, and it was to take my brand new brakes, which if you guessed endless, you guessed right. I've now had these brakes in a few different colors. The gold's my favorite. It's what I have in my 34, and every time I see those brakes, it just makes me really happy inside. This build, to seal it off, I had to keep a JDM, and I know the Endless makes really good brakes, and they're beautiful. So anyway, Johan's idea was to take the brake rotor, put it in the caliper. Very sketchy to do this. Very expensive, fancy rotor and caliper, and then basically lower it down until it sits on the hub. And unfortunately, these front wheels are already more aggressive than my old ones. They clear the spokes, but the problem is it hits the back edge of this rim. Obviously, the rotor's not centered because I know if it is, it'll hit here. So I had to make a decision. Either I get my fancy endless brakes or I get my new SSR SP6. I'm way more of an endless guy than anything, and the car looks pretty much perfect to me on the SSR SP3s that's on the car. But I wanted to switch it up because the car's been like so perfect in my eyes that I wanted a different look, and that was the whole reason for getting new wheels. But I did impatiently actually mount one to the car and try it with the SP3s that are on the car before, and they will clear those wheels. The solution would be, if I wasn't super impatient, I would have ordered these wheels with a much more aggressive back pad on them. I would lose probably about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of lip, but I would gain that in back pad, which would then space the caliper farther enough away from the lip of the wheel. Look, if I was smart, I would have taken the measurements, but it's very difficult because I don't even know the brake kit that I'm ordering half of the time. There's obviously like a large language barrier between Japanese and English, and I don't just order these off some site. Sam actually helps me, and May translates, and I try to get like the best kit for what I'm doing, but like there's so many different options, there's so many different colors and specs for rotors and brakes that it was just easier for me to wing it. And you know, maybe it's for a reason. Maybe the SP6 will look good on something else. But I'm still stoked. I'm stoked to get my endless brakes, and it's gonna seal the deal off on the car for me. One thing that I was excited for with these wheels is the rear is actually a little bit less aggressive than the current setup. So I was gonna use this combined with upper camber arms instead of getting camber from the lower, and I was going to pull out probably like 2 or 3 degrees of camber from the car, both in the rear and in the front, with again doing the same thing, going back to a stock lower with a modified upper, which would have given me a better contact patch with the ground, which would have made more sense with the upgraded brakes. But because of the amount of camber on the car, I'm kind of viewing the endless caliper mod as much more aesthetic than performance. But at some point I would like to get a little bit of camber out of that car just so it can hook a bit better and not feel so sketchy when I slam on brakes, which doesn't happen often. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Mike noticed part of the endless experience. I don't show my numbers. Got my own license card. And I thought this was kind of overkill at first, but I've actually used this schematic on the brakes on my Evo in order to figure out different pads that I can use. There's actually a lot of information that comes with these brake kits, and they are used a lot in racing, so they offer a lot of really killer pads. Sounds like a brand deal, but I'm literally just the biggest endless fanboy, so yeah, there's that. The problem is the instructions are kind of universal and they're written in Japanese. But for the most part, I can usually figure it out. EG9, not a Civic. Everything else, I think that's what that says. This is the part that always confuses me because there's many different ways to orient it, but I'm pretty sure the bracket always goes towards the rotor side. It just gets confusing because on these ones, it like makes it kind of rotate the rotor up. I understand why, but it like kind of puts the rotor at quite an angle. I guess it's not that much more of an angle than stock. A little bit. But yeah, it go like that. I think me and you guys, we fought a little bit on this one back when I did this install on my 34. So it hasn't been removed or swapped from the box, even though the box looks open. R.
Oh, I remember this.
R. R means right, okay? Open the box. Look, completely unwrapped. Look, it's a right caliper. Even though it looks like the fins are going the wrong way, I'm doing it how Endless says. R means right. So I think this caused like a pretty big debate, right? Because like people think that these air channels are meant to scoop air and cool it, but realizing after we had this argument, we had this debate, you and I, not you, but like you all, the way that these are designed, they scoop air from the inside and they distribute the heat outward up top. So R. My rotors aren't on backwards. They're on exactly how Endless intended. And we're not going to talk about it ever again. Okay. I love the design of these calipers. It makes it super easy to change pads. I may or may not have brake lines connected. I can't resist a sneak peek. Also, I want to check to make sure that the brakes do indeed clear the wheels. Oh, I forgot the main important thing.
What, for people to like, comment, subscribe?
The likes, comments, and subscribe that's actually a really important thing. Also, one thing before I get to the really bad part about what I just realized, make sure you hit the subscriber bell. YouTube sent me a report and they're like, hey, look, you've been doing a good job, kid, but only 15% of your people have the notify me bell checked. I don't really know where it is, but I'm gonna have Mike put it on the screen so you can find it.
It's next to sub button.
Yeah, if you don't hit that, it's not gonna tell you when I upload. And I get it if you don't want to know when I upload, but if you do and you don't want me to keep uploading Instagram stories all the time saying, hey, go check out my new video, you should do that. So basically, what the problem is, super hella flush fitment. Like, that is unreal. Unreal. Until
I
boom,
remember.
the stupid valve stem.
Yeah.
So before I'm able to finish the job, I'm gonna need to change the valve stems to button head ones, which is some stance boy bullshit. So I won't be able to inflate my wheels anymore, except for like with the dumb adapter. But like, that fitment is crazy.
And the fact that the wheels are rainbow and the rotors have a rainbow effect, I know that won't last, but
It's crazy because I never noticed the Spectrum like colorway on this because I feel like it gets lost in the black that's inside the wheel. But now that you can see the brakes, I feel like it brings out a lot. I don't like any of this sparkly, multicolored bullshit, except for Colette. She's good. I like her. Like, I would never choose these wheels. I just had them because they were on my FD car at SEMA, and then that one time me and Jimmy decided to try to make them fit this. They fit great, and the car just looked good, so I never bothered with changing it. But yeah, this is not a finish that I would ever pick in my life, but it looks good, and they've just like suited the car for a while. And gold, like, the reason for gold is because blue, cool, but like basic. All the other colors I'm not too hyped on except for the metallics. The metallics I feel like just like look so much more expensive. The yellow ones on my Evo, like, they're already hammered from tracking it and driving it. But I don't drive my cars, so. What's really cool about this kit that I was really excited about and I didn't verify first is that it does retain the factory drum brake. I hate when you go big brakes, you have to delete your factory handbrake. Really cool that they integrated this. They definitely didn't need to, but makes for one very happy Adam. I'm actually really not stoked about this. I really like these valve stems. Nice and easy to air up my tires. I always make fun of Mike because he would be stuck because you can't air them up unless you get the little tool. It's like having a wheel key for your air.
I don't like the way they work either, but it's the only way.
Stance Life didn't choose us. We chose it.
Yeah.
I think. That's how it goes.
Maybe.
The cool thing is I won't need valve caps, so that's lightweight. Question is, can I... Oh, I'll do it up top. But these are reverse mount. So
You should be able to use this boy, though, to push down enough.
I will. It's just sketchy because of reverse mount.
Yeah.
This looks like the safest way.
Yeah.
Stance. I need a drill.
Now you're just making more work for me.
What'd you say?
Now you're just making more work for me with all this sensor and bull.
I need to drill my SSR,
Yeah.
but like ever so slightly. Just for the stupid valve stems. I hate this. I hate this. Wish we could crack my wheel or something crazy. Now.
Dun.
Yeah, I just lost all the value of these wheels. Like I sell things. I have a problem. There we go.
Nice.
And then this goes like this. Then I tighten and we're good, right?
This is the old one. Gets in the way of the caliper. This is the new one. It's a flush mount valve stem. Super annoying to work with, but when you're trying to fit calipers, they're really like the only option. Stance Life ain't easy.
Yeah, it really ain't. I got a lot more respect for some of the dumb that they need to do to stance their cars. All right, the moment of truth. Will valve stems do the trick? Oh, we need to put brake fluid in them. Just kidding. We already did it.
One more time.
Mike would be so mad.
Look at that.
Fits like a champ. Damn, dude. Sheesh.
I heard you said you wanted bling, so we put some bling on your bling with your bling.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Good bling. A lot of bling.
It takes the car to like level 3 from level 2.
What's level 4?
You don't want to ask, dude. You don't want to ask.
Is there a 5?
Level 4 is for like the dudes that play the game like through 4 a.m. in the middle of the night. Level 3 is just like peak. You have time for life. Definitely underestimated the amount of time it was going to take to do a brake job on this car. I thought I was going to have time to like totally change the stand setup and everything. It took almost an entire day. Stoked. The Supra is like almost ready for its fire, so you guys will hear that in the next video, which should be coming out soon. More than anything, I didn't even think you'd be able to like see the reflection off the lip. Came out sick. Colette leaves for Japan tomorrow. I'm not leaving with her. I am going to meet her in Japan, so I got to take her
I'm going by myself, alone.
We got to go to the makeup store before they close. Not that you don't need makeup. You're beautiful.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
I still need it though. So
Remember,
let's go.
Eat your green beans. Okay, bye. Thanks for watching. R. R.
R?
My rotors aren't on backwards. They're on exactly how Endless intended. And we're not going to talk about it ever again. Okay? You thought the video was over, but it's not. I realized you guys just spent 20 minutes of your life watching me install brakes in my car, and we didn't even talk about how they felt. I will say, I was pleasantly surprised. I expected not really to notice much difference since the car has such a small contact patch with the road, but definitely slowing down from higher speeds, it feels so much more smooth and stable, and the car actually does slow down quite a bit faster. It's funny, I remember in the early days, I had the misconception that if I could lock up my brakes, then there was no point to go to bigger brakes, but what you forget is with bigger brakes, you have a bigger contact patch, both with more pistons and a larger surface area on the rotor, so it allows you to slow down more controlled instead of being like barely stopping or full lockup. The car looked freaking sick in the parking lot, so I'm stoked. This video was a lot of fun to make. It's been a while since I've had time to just be in the shop and wrench on something. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Before I leave for Japan, there's so much going on. It's gonna be hectic. 3 different cars are entering their finishing stages, and I'm gonna do my best to document it all. But I appreciate you guys more than ever, and I'll see you soon.